Nelson Mandela, South African politician, revolutionary leader and president. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, July 18, 1918 to December 5, 2013. An anti-apartheid politician in South Africa and a revolutionary who served as President of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. He was the first black president of South Africa, elected in the first multi-racial elections. His government focused on dismantling the legacy of apartheid by addressing institutional racism, poverty and inequality and promoting racial reconciliation. Politically, he is an African nationalist and social democrat. He served as president of the African National Congress, ANC, from 1991 to 1997. He also served internationally as Secretary General of the Non-Aligned Movement from 1998 to 1999. He was born in the Xhosa tribe to the Thembu royal family. Mandela attended the University of Fort Hare and the University of the Witwatersrand, where he studied law. He lived in Johannesburg and became involved in anti-colonial politics, joining the African National Congress, and becoming a founding member of the party's Youth League. After the Afrikaner nationalists of the National Party came to power in 1948 and began implementing apartheid, he rose to prominence in 1952 in a campaign to challenge the ANC. Was elected president of the Transvaal branch of the National Congress and oversaw the 1955 People's Congress. He worked as a lawyer. He was repeatedly arrested for seditious activities. Tried with the Congress Party leadership in the 1956 to 1961 treason trial and later acquitted. Initially urging non-violent protest, and in collaboration with the South African Communist Party he co-founded the militant organization Spear of the Nation, Umkhonto weSizwe, MK. In 1961, he was arrested and charged with assaulting government targets. In 1962, he was convicted of sabotage and conspiracy to overthrow the government, and the Rivonia court sentenced him to life imprisonment. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, first on Robben Island, then in Pollsmoor Prison and Victor Verster Prison. In parallel with the period of imprisonment, an international campaign spread that worked to pressure his release, which was achieved in 1990 amid an escalating civil war. Mandela then became president of the African National Congress, published his autobiography, and led negotiations with President de Klerk to abolish apartheid and hold multi-racial elections in 1994. Elections in which he led the ANC to victory. He was elected president and formed a national unity government in an attempt to diffuse ethnic tensions. As president, he established a new constitution and a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate past human rights violations. The government's liberal form of economic policy continued, and his administration introduced measures to encourage land reform, combat poverty, and expand healthcare services. Internationally, He mediated between Libya and the United Kingdom in the case of the Pan Am Flight 103 bombing, and supervised the military intervention in Lesotho. He abstained from running for a second term, and was succeeded by his deputy, Thabo Mbeki, who later became an elder statesman. Focusing on charitable work in the field of combating poverty and the spread of AIDS through the Nelson Mandela Foundation. The periods of his life generated much controversy, with right-wingers denouncing him and criticizing his sympathies for terrorism and communism. He also received much international praise for his anti-colonial and anti-apartheid stance, receiving more than 250 awards, including the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize, the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the Order of Lenin from the Soviet Union. Mandela enjoys deep respect in the world in general and in South Africa in particular, where he is often referred to by his clan name, Madiba or Tata, and is often described as the father of the nation. Nelson Mandela died on December 5, 2013, surrounded by his family at his home in Johannesburg from a lung infection from which he had suffered for a long time. Nelson died at around 2050 local time, UTC+2. And his death was announced by South African President Jacob Zuma, through a statement in which he said, "My countrymen, South Africa, Nelson Mandela united us, and we will bid him farewell united." Mourning was declared in the country for 10 days. Mandela received a state funeral attended by 90 official representatives of several countries and organizations in a solemn gathering in which a number of leaders took turns eulogizing the deceased. The ceremony took place on December 10, 2013 at Soccer City Stadium in Johannesburg. This is the stadium that witnessed Mandela's last public appearance during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. While the burial ceremony was held in Kuno, his birthplace, in the presence of members of his family and the country's leaders, 10 days of memorial ceremonies concluded.